We have a report that the Red Sox have a huge update when it comes to one of their top prospects, and we haven't talked about him yet on this channel. Welcome in, everyone. I am Evan Sharrard. Welcome to Red Sox Digest. We're about to get underway with the video here, but first, let me just tell you, please subscribe. Make sure that you're up to date with all the latest Red Sox news, reports, and rumors by subscribing to our channel. It's free. Thank you for doing so, and enjoy the video. I'm Evan Sharrard. Let's talk about this because first thing I need to get out of the way is where I got this from. So there was a report that came out just about yesterday when I'm filming this now, from Jackson Roberts of Boston Red Sox Sports Illustrated, and he's talking about this breakout player to watch who could be a valuable trade piece this winter. So let's take a look at who he's talking about here. There's a quote that he uses from the Major League Baseball's beat reporter for the Red Sox, Ian Brown, which talks about how Romero had a great debut, kind of surprised some people, and while he was in Double-A Portland, he was really able to kind of electrify a Double-A team that was expecting him to be great at some point, as he's a first-round pick, but maybe not just yet. And so they're talking about him hitting 16 homers here and how he should have a better 2025 season than he did 2024. So Mikey Romero is the prospect we're talking about, and I think it's important that since we haven't talked about him before here, let's break down what his sort of his attributes are, what value he brings in a trade, and what value he brings to the Red Sox. So Mikey Romero's an infielder. He's the 16th ranked prospect of all the Red Sox prospects, so he's not one of the top 100 guys in Major League Baseball, but he's 16th in the Red Sox system. And these are his demographics, pretty much. Some of them, at least. The age is a demographic, but the rest, just kind of his stats. And the scouting grades I'll explain here. 50 is average. Anything above it is above average. That's by increments of 5. So if you saw like 70 in his power, he has like elite level power. That guy is an incredible power hitter. But really overall here, just a little bit above average as a contact hitter, but just below average as a power hitter. Everything else is average, and he grades out as just below average as a Major League Baseball player, according to scouts. And that's when he was scouted a while ago. So those are his basic stuff there. Now let's just take a look at his statistics this past season in minor league baseball. He's only played over a season. As you can see, he's had about double the at-bats, just under, with his career minor league baseball stats. But overall, his last year was where he did a lot of his power, because you can see, if you look at the home run total, he had 16 last year, and he only had 1 the year before, and that RBIs total is 30 different from 2023 to 2024. So seems like he's developed a little bit of power here, which is exciting to see. Now that we've kind of covered Mikey Romero just to a base level, because what this video is about is not what is Mikey Romero good at, it's so we can kind of understand, okay, this is Mikey Romero, so this video is about trades. Okay, so Romero could be a trade piece this winter. What does that mean? What do we need? We need starting pitching. We need starting pitching. We need a power right-handed hitter. So Romero is years away from the bigs at this point. He just has played 2 years in minor league baseball so far, and unless he is an absolute superstar in minor league baseball next year and has an even better season than Roman Anthony just did, which has vaulted him to the top of the Red Sox prospect list, what's going to have to happen here is that Mikey Romero will have to have a few years, and then he'll be up in the Red Sox team. Now, he's an infielder, and we've talked about this bunched infield and how we really don't need another one right now besides at second base, and the rest of the infield is really strong. We have Marcelo Mayer coming up this year or next. You have Ceddanne Rafael playing short right now, and you have Trevor Story coming back. So Story probably fills in at short, Rafaela moves over to second, and then you've got a great infield all of a sudden, especially after the Red Sox have had one of the worst defenses in baseball for the past few years. And they have. They make a lot of errors. And they've just got 2 Gold Glove nods, which I touched on yesterday. But now we're talking about trades. Mikey Romero, the center of it, as an infielder, talked about how the Red Sox don't really need Mikey Romero right now. They might need him in the future, but let's hit on some of these trades. So this is that quote, but this is the first player I want to talk about in a potential trade. So Nick Lodolo, his stats here are not great. I like the strikeouts, but the hits per 9 are way too high. And he had a down year, and he's had multiple down years. So ERA plus is 8 below average, and it averages 100 for the major league average, which means that he did not have a good season. He wasn't a great pitcher. But Nick Lodolo has exceptional upside as a strikeout guy. He's got great stuff. He's got great velocity. He's still young enough. And he's not on a good team where they have 3 years until he's an unrestricted free agent. The Reds, unless they really turn it around with new manager Terry Francona and their players that they've got on roster, and they do have some promising ones, including Lodolo, it would behoove them to get even younger and extend their new window for this new manager that they're bringing in. Granted, Francona's not a young guy, but he's shown that he knows how to win before. So we'll see how they assess that situation. I would love to see the Red Sox take a shot on Lodolo. I also think in terms of the value that you're getting from an unproven prospect who's had injury issues, and then you bring in a pitcher here who's also had injury issues, it can be seen as a win-win for both teams. All right, I get a younger prospect who can develop an infielder position player, plays every day, and then the Red Sox get the pitching they need, and hopefully he can turn into a superstar pitcher like he's been touted to be, another first-round draft pick in Lodolo. So that's Nick Lodolo, but this is Brady Singer, and a similar situation here. So Singer's Baseball Savant page, which I'm not going to show you because they're just two stats there I want to touch on, are his walk rate is usually very good. His hit rate is usually very bad. However, his ground ball rate is among the best in baseball. And one of the problems the Red Sox had this late in the season was giving up the home run. Man, Cutter Crawford was unbelievably good at giving up home runs, but besides that, he was a great pitcher, and he had a great start to the season. There was a point where the Red Sox hadn't allowed a home run for, I think it felt like almost a week to start the season, and then they gave him up. Brady Singer adds a very different style arm to the Red Sox team, which I think would be really nice as a 3-spot guy. Brady Singer's shown before that he has the ability to be a top pitcher. Granted, his Baseball Savant says and would tell a different story that Singer is pretty much just a good ground ball pitcher. At his best, he could probably be like a prime Kyle Hendricks, and that could still be some incredible praise. So for those of you who don't know, Kyle Hendricks was one of the main pitchers on the World Series champion Chicago Cubs team in 2016. He's retiring after this year. He'd been a Cub forever, and he's sort of had the same problems as Brady Singer. He's not throwing the hardest. Singer throws much harder than Hendricks, but he focuses on being accurate, hitting the strike zone, pounding you with strikes, and winning by getting ahead in the count. And that is winning baseball generally. It's just going to be whether Singer can figure out how to get guys out instead of how to get guys on via the base hit. Sort of Kyle Hendricks' problem as well. But Hendricks at his best was an all-star and a tough out any day when you're facing him. So that's Brady Singer. Back to the graphics. And last but not least, I talked about two guys who are not necessarily exciting, but could be exciting. And that's how we Red Sox fans have had to deal with things for the past few years of like, oh, we're taking a chance on this guy, but not Logan Webb. Logan Webb is one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's been with Andrew Bailey, our pitching coach in Boston, who really helped out Kevin Gossman and Logan Webb. And Logan Webb not only gets a lot of ground balls, but had a great season last year, is an ace-level pitcher, was in trade talks. I had talked about him earlier in the summer, that the Red Sox should go and get him, and I still think that they should. He's not that old. He's got great ERA plus, and he has throughout his career. He strikes out hitters. He doesn't let guys get on. His whip, which is walks, hits per innings pitched, which basically tells you how many batters he allows per 9 innings, is one of the best in Major League Baseball. And if you want to win games and have great pitching, you need to keep base runners off the base paths and get outs. And that's what Logan Webb does. He's not one of the top 5 or top 10 pitchers in baseball, but he's right out there. He's on a team that's kind of tweening right now between just sneaking into the playoffs and just being bad, and they're just average. And the Red Sox are really on the end of that slope where they need to take the next step. And Logan Webb is one of those guys who they could bring in, and I think could go and trade Romero And depending on what new general manager Buster Posey decides to do in San Francisco, he may ask for more. And if he does, then you can talk about adding some of the higher level prospects for the Red Sox and maybe even a guy on roster right now. And I'm just thinking that based on the way that the Red Sox are built, it does not make sense to trade, and we've talked about it, trade Jarren Duran or Willie Abreu. It just doesn't, because those guys are part of the core of the offense. You let O'Neill walk. You bring Roman Anthony into the outfield. You have Yoshida DH, or maybe you trade him. But if you're going to trade more for Logan Webb and you're giving up Mikey Romero, I say you throw in one of the top 4 guys, not Roman Anthony because he's going to be pushed into the outfield. You can consider it with Mayer, and this might take a little while, and that could be a little much, honestly. It could be that the Red Sox don't have the right pieces to get a move done for Logan Webb, because they either have too much and they're going to get robbed, or they have too little and San Francisco's not going to like what they get back. But hey, who knows? Maybe San Francisco really likes Mikey Romero and maybe they see that deal as even. I think it could be. I haven't seen enough of Romero to really judge whether I think Romero is going to be a top tier prospect who absolutely will pan out. But from watching a lot of baseball, there are plenty of people who are drafted high and don't turn out. The guy right before Chris Bryant, couldn't tell you his name, but I can tell you he's not in Major League Baseball. He wasn't in Major League Baseball, and he never made it. So that's the first overall pick in the draft. And in most leagues, you're going to see the guy play at least once, even if they end up falling out. But that's all I have for you guys today. I'm Evan Sharrard. Thank you for listening. Hopefully we can see some Red Sox news for the better very soon, as the Major League playoffs are kind of getting close to winding down now. Time I'm filming this, it's the middle of the National League and American League Championship Series. Hoping that the Yankees lose, just like always. It'll be the most exciting time of this part of the year now that the Red Sox are out. Always love it when they do. So stay tuned, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.